Hello everybody, welcome back to another video here at Rule 1 Model Railways. Today we're going to have a look at some of the older Kato stock and compare it to Dapol and Graham Farish stock from over the years. Stay tuned for more. So the first piece of stock I actually want to have a look at is this Kato KTT set. This was produced in 1999 in a limited batch of 2,000 units. And first of all, I think we can say the packaging on this is amazing compared to what you get, especially back then on locomotive sets or train kits, and especially even today what you get. So going to unbox this, first of all you have this protective sleeve, comes off. That stops the box from opening in transit, as you can see there. Nice thick cardboard box. Opening that up, we can see inside, still sealed actually, the instructions and advertisements for different Unitrack kits and the warranty. Put that to one side. And then the protective foam as well. I'll just move the camera down. Just there. And opening that up, again, really well looked after, protected box of trains. Taking out our first carriage, for the year 1999, I think this was an absolutely amazing model. You can see there, all of the carriage is moulded. There is no printed sides on that to mimic what would be structure. The destination boards are actually cut out, and underneath there's a little bit of plastic that represents those. We have working knuckle coupling system. Every wheel has pickups if you put the light bars in, and the details on top are all printed nicely. They're not separate, but they are printed really well. And for a model in 1999, I'm sure we can all say they've done an amazing job. The paint on it, the application is fair. For the year that it was released, it was brilliant. There is a little bit of fading where it goes from silver to blue. I don't know if you can see that there with the light coloured blue, but all around the door frames, the blue itself. It's a little bit faded around the edges, but for the year it's released, I think we can forgive that. And looking at the, I get the logo out very carefully. I'll actually take it out like this. You can see that was very well packaged as well. And it came like so, with working pantographs, each sprung, so if you did have overhead line equipment, they worked with that, and they clip back down nicely. Working lights, front and back. Again, those proper knuckle couplings that look really good. They're close as well. All of the detail is moulded onto the body. And underneath, as you can see there, all the wheels got pickups, and the gears are already fairly fine and well formed. And the motion there, the bogie is very fine as well. So we'll place that down, and I'm going to lower the camera a bit further down. We are going to compare that to something Graham Farish would have released during the day when that was done. It would be this. This is the sort of thing that we had when Kato were releasing items like that. Graham Farish were releasing things like this. So looking at that, we still had the brass gearing inside. I can see a brass worm gear inside actually. The whole body was just a die-cast one piece. The detail on it wasn't that great, owing to that fact. It made it cheap to manufacture. And the wheels were the old-fashioned pizza cutter wheels. Detail not good. Running fairly poor. And compared to the Kato cousins that we had, their productions, they were far, far better. But then again, there was no competition in the UK in N-Gage. This is what we had, and this is what we had to put up with. Which brings me on to reduce costs. Graham Farish, when purchased by Bachmann, moved their factory to China. And they started producing models like this. This is their Class 159. As you can see there, we were still putting up with the just printed details. They're not moulded. Again, on the roof it's fairly smooth. There's not much in the way of detail. The underfloor is a bit better. And that's what I think really did let the model down. Is part of the front there actually moves with the bogie. It's attached to the bogie. Rather, if I pull up a different model from Kato, it's attached to the frame, and these come out roughly the same time. And you can see there, if I turn the wheels, the front frame doesn't move. And we have actual working Schaffenberg couplings on this unit. So they were available and were able to manufacture them back in the day. But again, no competition in the market. They went for the old cheapy way of doing it. Looking for interior details on these. If I pull out the other end without the motor, yes, there is some in there. You can't see them because the plastic used was too dark. You can just about see them if you look really, really closely, but not much to write home about. Then, enter the market, Dapol. And this is one of the first models they produced back in the day, and you can see above the Graham Farish stuff how much better the modelling is on this. The paint is far, far better. Still not perfect, but it was much better. But all the separate details, you have additional roof details, you have all separate details that are put on there, moulded onto it, painted properly to the correct colours. All of the warning labels are actually on there. Really fine details. The windows are actually glazed, put into the frame of the body rather than just being printed on. And the bogies, even though they're injection moulded one piece bogies, the detail is actually there in its basic form. And again, on the front, dummy Schaffenberg cupola. This front piece doesn't move around with the front bogie like the 158. That really forced Graham Farish to up their game. And when this was released, Graham Farish then thought, oh, we'd better try and keep up with that. And they did. They released their very own. So that was a 221 you just saw. That was the tilting Super Voyager. This is Graham Farish's answer to that. It's a 220 Voyager. This is only the 4-car units that they did. And as you can see there, the bogie detail is all separate. You have separate windscreen wipers on there. All the roofing detail is now additional and placed on there. And then you have the moulded details as well. They're cut out there. The underframe detail is much, much better. And I think the paint on this is far more crisp than it was on Dapol's version. So they did actually one-up Dapol on this, I think, personally. But they had to keep in the game. Now, bear in mind, they were forced to do that because of competition. Kato in Japan were producing things like this maybe 10 years prior, and they weren't forced by competition to do so. And as you can see there, it's all, as I say, on the other models, it's all fitted details, not printed details. The glazing there is actually pressed into the frame itself, all along the sides, and then the paint application on this is really, really good. And they also have the Schaffenberg couplings that are actually working. And you have even the cables are modelled on this one between the cars. And each car itself on these actually have pickups if you have the lighting units in. So lighting units, even back then, are available for Kato units. And that also brings me on to, something Kato did in the British market. This is the original run of the Eurostar. Again, a long time before Dapol came out, this was produced. And as you can see there, you agree with me, I think. The detailing is amazing. The paintwork is brilliant. The running of these is amazing, owing to the massive flywheels in them. All of the overhead detail is featured on these models. And Kato didn't actually have any competition with the Eurostar sets. No one else actually produced them. But they still did this amazing detail. They even made, see these corridor units on the articulated part? They were made specifically for this model. All of the bogey sets are there. Interior details is all present and correct. If you can see in there. And all of the details on the side are moulded. These grills are moulded, not printed. And then you've got your close couplings on this end as well. So Kato did a really, really good job on these models really early on. In fact, I would say these models give even today's models a run for their money. Then Dapol started to up their game again. They started releasing their HSTs just a couple of years ago. And these are on par now with all the modern stock, pretty much. Again, correct bogue details, under floor details correct. All of the bodies are moulded properly. All of the glazing is separate, it's not printed on. I've actually modified this with hunt couplings. That's one thing about modern N-gauge stock in the UK. Those, what they called rapido couplings, I think they are, they're not very good. These are much, much better for fixed rake sets. But they have interchangeable NEM pockets, so they're very, very easy to swap out now. And that is a blessing on modern models nowadays compared to how they used to be before. And before they used to be either screwed in like this one, absolute pain to get to, or there'd be the strong ones. I'll show you this one here, where you'd lose the spring every time, which goes to show even when Eurostar, Kato are producing this Eurostar with those carriages, amazing carriages, this is what we had to put up with in the UK. Limited, if no details on the roof, all of the sides printed, no detail at all. You see the shine that runs down the whole thing. Pizza cutter wheels, really just made the cheapest way possible. Even on the inside, they didn't even paint the bottom inside of the floor, so you get to see the shine of the plastic as it goes past. Compare that to this, and you'll see where I'm coming from about how Kato were years and years ahead back in the day. Moving on to the most recent models. I think Graham Farish have finally kept up and maybe even overtaken some of the Kato models. And Dapol as well. Looking at the Graham Farish example here, I have a 4MT tank. All of the detail that can be featured is featured as separate details, not moulded onto the frame on the main body. All of the wheels are spoked. You can see there we have all of the pipe work, all of the linkage in there, and it looks absolutely brilliant. Running of this is okay. It's not the best in the world, it's not the worst in the world, but it has some nice weight to it. It's got some nice pulling power, so well done to Graham Farish on this one. Dapol's latest releases, the Class 68s, or one of their latest releases. Again, absolutely brilliant. As you can see there, all of the detail is fitted completely on those, and the roof gear all fitted. Even the wheels have the disc brakes with the little holes in modelled. All of the bogie is painted correctly, even the ladder on the bogie. All of the pipework detail is fitted on this end. And as you can see there, the British market in the last 2 to 3 years have finally caught up. And again, these are brilliant runners. They have taken a leaf out of Kato's book, as they did in this unit, and fitted flywheels into this one. And you can see where I did a repair on this in a previous video. You can actually see the flywheel when I replaced one of the bogies because of a split gear. Now I think the split gear may have been a one-off there. I don't think that's a regular thing on these units. I was just unlucky. Now, we will get some shots of these running, so we can compare all of the historic units to today's modern stock. I'm doing this video really because Kato will be releasing their Class 800s into the UK market. I think, well, it'll be in the 1 to 148 scale size, so they are properly entering the UK market, and we'll see what they come up with after. Hopefully they'll be here to stay for a long time yet. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to leave you with a few shots of everything running now. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.